Hey, what's up, Crypto Army? I'm Travis, your crypto newbie, bringing you my experiences so you have to learn things the hard way. Just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor, and none of my content should be viewed as financial advice. If you like what my content offers, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and turn on notifications to get notified when I post new content. So today we're going to do a fundamental analysis of Metabolic. This is a very new token. It's not on CoinMarketCap, it's not on CoinGecko. It just relaunched in the last couple days, so there's less than 1,000 holders of this token right now. So here's their website, and it looks amazing. It's one of the better websites I've seen, especially off of the Solana blockchain. Now, you've been on some of the videos I've done on Solana blockchain. That's what I expect to see on the Solana blockchain. We don't really see a lot of really well-designed websites on BEP20 or on the ERC20 side of the house. This is a BEP20 token. And I got to tell you, they did a really awesome job on the visuals on their website. It's phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about their website. Now, as I said, it's a BEP20 token. They launched with 10 billion tokens. Yeah, I said that right. It's not a quadrillion token launch. It's a 10 billion tokens, of which approximately 50% has already been burned on launch. So it's really only got 5 billion tokens in distribution, which means that they launched with an appropriate number of tokens where you probably won't have to see a version 2 of this contract unless they have to make a change or modify something down the road. You really shouldn't have to see some of what the other tokens in the community are doing right now, which is migrating to version 2 tokens in order to kill some of that supply. You're going to launch with a lot less tokens, which means that the price is a little bit higher for this one as well. But because there's so few holders right now, you're really getting in at the ground level. And that doesn't happen very often unless you're really watching launch events. It's hard to get into a project with under 1,000 holders in it. And that's the situation we're in here. So keep that in mind as we're going through this project. This might be something that you're interested in investing in to get in on the ground level and hopefully get some really good profits. Now, the way they have their website set up here is you've got the navigation options here that'll navigate you down the page. It's not new windows, so everything is on their main page. If you want to just start scrolling down, you can do that when you get to this website. And as you can see here, they've got their white paper and their audit right at the top of the page here. And you can see they've got an audit done. So it's a great first step for the launch of a project to already have an audit complete. So as we can see, they had their audit done by Audit's Finance. So let's scroll down here a little bit. And they just kind of do their table of contents and their overview, their disclaimer, and then we get the actual audit overview. And as you can see here, no criticals, no majors, no mediums, 3 minors, and 1 informational. So a phenomenal audit. And with these, I'm not going to go too much in detail. Minors are not that big of a deal. Feel free to open up the audit and scroll down and go through them. They're primarily just code related. I do like that this audit team tells you about the code issue and what it can do and what to fix it. So I do like that approach. But since they're minor and one of them is informational, there's not really a big issue where you have to worry about somebody necessarily stealing all your money out of your contract. That's what you would get in these critical and these majors up here, is those kinds of concerns. So minors are pretty common throughout all of the crypto space. There's quite a few major projects out there that still have even some mediums on their audits. And they're in the top 20 right now. So you don't really have to worry too much about these minor issues. I tend to worry a little bit more about mediums and higher. I mean, obviously nobody wants a critical, but for the most part, this is a really well done audit. Looks like they got some great results. I don't know much about Audit's Finance to compare them to, say, Certic. There's a lot of different audit companies out there these days, and there's not a lot of information about whether they're good audits or not. And for the level of discrepancies they've got and the number, I would give them a 95 for their fundamental analysis. I think it's a really good job. That's a very, very small number of discrepancies. And since Audit's Finance doesn't provide kind of their estimate of, a number score that we can use to comprehend how good or bad the audit is, we'll just make one up, and 95 seems appropriate, and it's in line with some of the other ones I've reviewed on this channel. All right, let's continue down the website here. So we are creating the future of the NFT metaverse gaming. So we know NFT, we know metaverse, and we know gaming as key aspects of what they're trying to do with their project. Metaverse token is a truly next generation reflectionary token with the NFT metaverse gaming space that automatically rewards you for holding, supported by an all-in-one platform with state-of-the-art tokenomics. So we know that we're going to get rewards from this. It's going to be a rewards token. The rewards is actually pretty small. It's a 10% fee for this token, and we'll cover this a little bit more down in the tokenomics area. And you're going to get a 1% back in rewards. Now we are going to take a look at this video. They've got a couple videos here, and they've got their YouTube channel that you can watch more content. They've done a really good job with their video content, just like their website. So why does this matter? Now, look at some of the other projects we've looked at. They have a cookie cutter website. They don't necessarily have a lot of other stuff on their website. This one took the time to put some really high quality graphics together, and they're talking about metaverse gaming. So they've demonstrated to us the ability to produce high quality content, which matters when you're talking about metaverse gaming. Now, there's not a lot of information about what kind of a game they're talking about. It sounds like they're trying to build a card game initially with a lot of really awesome visuals built into it and scene type stuff. I'm not exactly sure what the overall picture is going to look like because it's a brand new project. We haven't had a lot of time to really observe this. I did review some of their previous AMAs to get a little bit more information about this project because they've had a couple AMAs over the last couple months. So I did review their last one in preparation for this. And that's where I heard about the card game and some of the visuals that they're planning on integrating into it, along with some other stuff that we'll talk about as we go through. So as here, we can see that they're going to have a platform, a dashboard of sorts. It's been pretty popular throughout the community to have some sort of a dashboard. They're going to do the same thing. And then they're going to have a DAO incorporated as well. So you're going to have a say in this community. And then you're also going to have that rewards mechanism. I love that they've got a how to buy and they walked through it. I always prefer a video be created for it, but this is better than nothing. So it checks the box for how to buy information. It's awesome. So if you got any questions about how to buy this token, start there. I've also got a pretty good video that I'll put the link for here that walks you through a different token on how to do it, but it's a BEP20 and all the BEP20s are the exact same process. And up on the top of this website, if you didn't notice it, there's the contract address. So all you have to do is go to this website to get the contract address. A Metabolic wallet, which again, look at the graphics. We're seeing the same trend that we see in the video and in the website carry through into the design of the actual wallet. We can expect that they're going to have a high quality wallet. And what they're trying to do is build in some staking functions and the NFTs, and they're trying to be a little bit different than others in the space. And I listened to a little bit of the AMA where they talked about this, and the host of that AMA had a particular wallet that he really enjoyed. And he said, is it going to be basically as good as this one, or is it going to be better? And the team is trying to revolutionize the space and bring more functionality and better features. That's kind of how things have to work. In order to compete against the ones that are already out there, you have to produce a better product. So they've got that in mind. Now it's just a matter of seeing whether they actually pull through with it. Just keep in mind, no matter what wallet they come out with, it may not necessarily include every single feature that the final product will have. There's usually an iterative approach where more features are incorporated as they roll a product out. A lot of teams put out the minimum viable product just to show that they can produce a product and they can produce some of that initial utility and build up the confidence within the community. Again, we're still a ways away from any kind of wallet. I'm just speaking about reality here when we talk about some of these products that come out. Sometimes the initial launches aren't always the best products and they build to it over time. And here we get to the tokenomics. So as you can see, 10 billion tokens, 10% transaction fee, 6% towards marketing is kind of high. Again, that overall is going to be 10%. 6% is a little high for a marketing. Generally, anything 5% and over, I always recommend a little bit of caution because that is a lot of marketing funds going to the team. So you got to be aware of that. That is definitely a high risk. And where does the risk come from? When the volume starts to kick up, they're getting a huge amount of intake when there's volume. When there isn't volume, they don't necessarily get strong marketing, but marketing is really important at the launch of a token to start getting that stuff out there and make sure that they can grow a community. And since there's less than 1,000 holders, This project's got a lot of growing to do, so they do need those marketing funds to push it out. And it sounds like they've got a decent amount of money saved up for marketing. It's just kind of a bad time to launch in the middle of a bear market. It's not 100% sure whether they're going to put a lot of marketing in right now, just because Bitcoin continues to go down, not up. We're still not going the right direction. Last time I checked it was about 46,000. That's a little ways away from 50 where it was just a day or two ago. So we're not going the right direction, and Bitcoin drags everything down, even launch tokens sometimes. But 6% is definitely a little high. It's not unusual. We're starting to see more projects launch with 6% marketing. It's just a little high. And I suspect that that's going to be going towards development of the app and the metaverse and the games and stuff like that also. So it's probably not entirely just going to be focused on marketing. My recommendation to the team would be to call it marketing and development, just because that's probably how the funds are going to be used. That's just a guess. Now, BEP20, as we discussed, so you're not going to have those really high fees that you would have on the Ethereum network. So funny story, I saw a token that I was kind of interested in on the Ethereum network, and I was getting ready to do a video, and I was curious, how much is it going to cost me to buy this token? Because right now it's fairly new, it just launched, and the gas fees for my $60 purchase, I was planning to buy $60 of this token, at least that's what I put into the Uniswap. My gas fees were $106. I didn't buy it. Who's going to spend $106 for the gas fees? And again, that's why I don't spend a lot of time on Ethereum-based tokens on this channel. It's just not practical. Who's going to spend that kind of money on the gas fees? And I read a kind of a funny article the other day that the reason why people stay on the Ethereum network and don't sell other positions is because the gas is just too high. And they're right. I've got stuff that's staked. I've got a bunch of liquidity pool stuff I'm over on there. I'm not willing to pay the ridiculous gas fees to pull it out of there. Even though I'm getting a little bit of that impermanent loss with the liquidity pools, I'd rather just lose a little bit there rather than $100 and however many dollars just on gas fees. It's crazy. So you don't have those on this token, but you're on the BEP20 network, so expect fees of like $2 to $3 in comparison to the Ethereum network where it's like $100 and some dollars. And it was all the way up to $200 the other day. So, I mean, me personally, stay on the BEP20 side. And then you get that 1% that goes back to you. Kind of low in today's fees and how things are working out for rewards. Again, kind of high on the marketing, kind of low on the rewards. Not necessarily a risk or an issue, other than, yes, you can have an issue here. And what are some of the issues you run into with the 6% marketing fee? Sometimes the tokens can launch, and I'm not saying that this is going to happen with this token. I don't get the sense from this team that this would ever happen. But if this is a concern and this is a potential risk you have to worry about, because it's a 6% fee, they can accumulate the marketing, pull it all out, and essentially rug pull the project using the marketing wallet. So that's why you got to watch out for really high marketing fees, is because of that concern. Because there's a whole bunch of projects out there that don't launch with any marketing fee, and somehow they manage to pull it off. They usually have to end up asking for community donations. So I would prefer some level of marketing, but 6% is a lot. I mean, just think about what that is in terms of rewards, 6%. So 6 times whatever you're going to get is what the team's going to get on their marketing. They get 6% of every single transaction. That's why I don't like seeing these high fees, and that's a big risk to look out for. Now, finally, we got the liquidity tax. 3% is about right. And I suspect that when they have liquidity issues, part of this marketing will be moved over to liquidity, because when a token's just launching, that's normally when you're going to run into problems with liquidity. So potentially this could be kind of a interchange here where they can pull some from the marketing to fill that void. So currently we're in this first phase here. It says completed, and they're looking for 2,500 Telegram members, airdrops, the contract deployment, all the things that they've already knocked out here. And now we're into the phase 1, quarter 4 influencers and marketing and private sale. They've already done the private sale and the pre-sale. That's already been complete. And they're just kind of building up the advertisements at this point. and some of that marketing. And you can see right now they're starting the NFT marketplace, and they've already started building that wallet. It says here they're beginning the development in Q1 or Q2 of next year, but they've already started that based on the video that I watched, or the AMA that I watched, and having that staking and the swapping built into it. And it sounded like they're going to incorporate NFTs as well. And they also mentioned getting a third-party audit of the actual wallet when they're pretty much done with it. So expected to get an audit. Now, hopefully, I've seen a couple of wallet launches, and they haven't gone overly well. Ideally, they plan into any kind of a roadmap they build, that audit to be done before they launch it. And I'll use Saitama as a great example. They had a launch event for a wallet that didn't have the audit, and they weren't actually launching. Yeah, the community did not take that well. They had a lot of other issues with it as well, but it didn't go very well. So if they're building a timeline for the actual release and they start talking about it's going to be out in this quarter, hopefully they plan in whatever audit that they're going to use, whether it's Certic or some other company that does audits on wallets. Hopefully they build that into that timeline, so that when they do a launch event, they actually launch the wallet. I mean, that would be helpful. Hopefully they watch this video and take that to heart, and don't try to launch a wallet that doesn't already have a security audit, because that doesn't work. Now, that's not to say that they can't do some beta testing before they've done the security audit, because you're generally not using real crypto in beta testing. So I would encourage them to do beta testing alongside the actual audit, or right before they do the audit. But when they actually do the launch event, just make sure that they actually can launch a product. Now, here's kind of the exciting portion here. Virtual reality NFT game. And I heard him talk a little bit about augmented reality as well. So it'll be really interesting to see what they put together. And it sounded like they were also going to try to use Unreal Engine 5 in some capacity. I'm not 100% sure. I've got a lot of questions about what this game could look like, or what they're thinking it might look like. And my suspicion is that they'll start giving some of that information out here in the next week or two, when they start doing more AMA contents and getting the information out to the community. So let's talk about this team for a second. Dan, aka the man. And as you can see, not a lot of doxing going on here. Now, they've got pictures, and I do appreciate that they put the pictures out there. The next step will be to do webcam AMAs, just to confirm that the pictures match. That way the community knows that the people that are in the pictures are the actual people, especially if you're not going to put your name out there to allow people to search you. This isn't doxed. Now, the exception here is their lead media developer. So if you search for him, you're going to find information. And you can see his picture is him, because he works at 103.1 FM. I think it's out of Chicago. So you can kind of read about him here if you want to. And he's a DJ, which is relevant because one of the strategies they talked about for advertising and getting the marketing out there for this project is over the radio. And I suspect that he's ideally placed to make that happen. So you might see or hear about this project in the future on your ride home. Now, the rest of the team, yeah, not so much on the search engine. It's not really going to pull anything up. And that's always my recommendation to the team. I would call this a partially doxed team. So you can look him up, but you can't look anybody else up. I'm not sure why projects think that this is a good idea not to dox themselves. There's a couple other projects I cover on this channel that do the same thing. My recommendation is to stand by your project. And when I talk a little bit more about this project, you'll understand why I think that they really should dox themselves. I don't need the entire team to dox. Really, the person that needs to dox themselves is the CEO. He's the person in charge. This is his project, his or her, depending on the project. They really need to be the one to dox. I appreciate it when the rest of the team or a portion of the team dox themselves as well, but this is his project. He should stand behind it and then dox himself. That's just my take on things, but I've been seeing a lot more of the community across multiple communities that don't have dox teams say the same thing. There's a growing need inside of the community of crypto for projects to dox themselves. I'm actually surprised that regulation hasn't come out that says you have to, because think of it. What business is going to launch without having any information about the owner of that business, especially on the stock exchange? And crypto is in stock. I'm not trying to say that it is, but in many ways it feels kind of the same aspect of what stock does. When you invest in crypto, you're investing in the project, in the utility, and the team that run that project. It's not any different than when you invest in a company that has stock. It's a very similar concept. Crypto is used very differently, but it's kind of the same idea. When you buy crypto, you are investing in that team and that project. How many of us invest in the stock market and don't go do a little bit of research about the team behind the company? If you do and you're successful, you're very lucky, because that's not how it always works. Businesses don't always succeed once they get listed on the stock exchange. Cryptos are the same thing. Again, you're investing in the team. Not the picture of the team, the actual team. I like that they got the contact option. I always look for that. I didn't test it this time, but I have been in contact with the team. I like this project. I don't like that they didn't dox the entire team, but I do like this project. And in particular, I've had contact with their lead media developer. I'm going to be trying to cover this project. I don't have any affiliation with this project. None whatsoever. I'm not getting paid to represent this project. I've had quite a few interactions with their lead media developer just through the YouTube channel. Generally, he sends me an email, hey, can you take a look at this project? And some of the projects I've covered on this channel have been recommendations from him. So when he got on this team, he reached out to me to take a look at their project. And I always want projects to succeed. There's never a project that I don't want to be successful. I don't tell you whether a project is going to be successful or not. I tell you what the risk is associated with the project. That's all I'm trying to articulate when I do these fundamental analysis, is what are some of the risks you have to be concerned about on whether this project will be successful or not. I will never try to tell you whether something's a rug pull or a scam or don't invest in something. That's not my place to do. I'm just trying to give you some of the risks you have to worry about. But I have had contacts with their lead media developer about this project and about other projects as well. But I do like that they have this. I like that they've got their Telegram. I always like that they've got Discord. Now, I don't like Telegram. I really dislike Telegram. I've said that repeatedly on this channel. I am in Telegram, but I don't like Telegram. There is a benefit to Telegram. I generally think that Twitter is the bigger benefit, and a lot of the people that are on Twitter also happen to be on Telegram. The people that are in Discord are generally different people than you would find on Telegram, so I can see a benefit to having both. I've never done a comparison. I kind of like to do a study to just see what is the community breakdown on what's the overlap. Is there really any benefit to Telegram? I'm not sure. I think on an initial launch of a project, probably, but there's more benefit to a Discord over time. Actually, I've seen a couple of projects out there that have actually turned off their Telegram entirely because it is resources that are being allocated to manage the Telegram area that could be better used in Discord, because Discord provides knowledge management, which is one of those big key business terms these days. But it provides a great resource for putting all the information about the project. So anybody that wants more information can go into Discord and read about the project straight from the development team. So all the questions that get asked, you put the answers to those in Discord. You can also put a frequently asked question on your website, but generally you're going to have much better content in the Discord. You're going to have a more pared down frequently asked questions inside of the website in comparison to what you would get in Discord. And Discord allows for everything to be organized. You can't do that with Telegram. It's just a long string of text, and most of it's bots. And again, we got another video right here, and that's pretty much it. That is pretty much their entire website. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the white paper. The white paper does have pretty much the same information that's on their website, but there's a couple areas I did want to focus on. It's not a very long white paper. It's only 7 pages long. And you can see, again, it carries through the really great graphics from the website and from the wallet and everywhere else we've seen. Check out their videos. They really are phenomenal, but you can see that they've got a really experienced team for graphic design, which is important when you're talking about metaverse games. Now, I always like to look at the vision statement. Vision kind of tells you where they're going. So let's go ahead and take a look at the vision statement. Metabolic's vision is to be one of the leading developers of games for the metaverse. This is done by developing visually appealing, functional, scalable products that utilize cutting-edge programmable 3D NFT technology. We are committed to creating the most immersive blockchain-based games possible. This concept will be combined with beautiful NFT-based characters, items, and environments that are only accessible via Unreal Engine 5. We are striving for the highest quality. Our ultimate goal is to provide you with an unforgettable experience. To reach our goals, we must understand the importance of diversity, which is why we must embrace it. The company's entire strategy is to develop a world-class ecosystem of compelling, useful products that offer a high level of token utility that will help the community engage. There is no doubt that Metabolic will continue to advance by leaps and bounds through this model for many years to come. So their vision statement does a really good job of painting a picture of where they want to be and what they want to be doing, which is good. That's kind of what you look for in a vision statement. So what is your vision of the future? What does it look like? What do you need to be able to get there? And that's what the vision statement does. It does a really good job of it. So now let's jump into some of the utility. So the wallet. What is the wallet going to do? So it's planning to launch in the not so distant future, not specific, which is good because they need to actually try to stick to their timeline. So hopefully they make some progress and then they start coming up with a plan for when it's going to be launched. It will double as a payment app that can be used in establishments accepting cryptocurrencies as payment methods. They're going to have P2P chat within the wallet, the ability to send tokens to registered users without the use of a wallet address, which is pretty interesting. I like the idea of that. There's a couple projects that are doing something very similar to that, and that's a great feature. So that makes it a lot easier because wallet addresses are kind of hard to write down and send to people. And if you get it wrong, you could lose your crypto. Multi-chain access, NFT marketplace with 3D asset features, which is kind of cool. And you can kind of see the pictures of what that might look like. So you can buy NFTs in a virtual marketplace using their tokens. Aside from the traditional web-based marketplace, a VR counterpart will also be developed. Open the marketplace to public artists, share and sell their 3D masterpieces. And they also plan to have a 3D NFT viewing feature available within the Metabolic wallet. So that's a feature that doesn't currently exist anywhere. And then it's just their roadmap, and that's pretty much it. So how do you see price data? Well, that's what we got PooCoin for. And I'll put the link for that if you haven't been to PooCoin before. But generally speaking, most coins you can see on PooCoin before you see anywhere else. It's not on CoinMarketCap, it's not on CoinGecko. You got to go to PooCoin to see information about the price data right now. And as you can see, the price is down low. It was only launched about a week ago. So this is a relatively new project. And you can see the price is a pretty low point right now. That's actually a really good purchase point. And I'll be honest, I'm just waiting for payday to buy. Now, I don't know how much I'm going to buy into this project. I do think that this project has the potential to go far. So I do plan on investing a little bit in this project, but I have currently not invested any money into this project. Just full disclosure. But I do plan to. It's just not payday yet. And as you can see, the price is at the 0.4024. There's 10 billion tokens in total supply, of which half have been burned. So 5 billion tokens, and it's at 4024. That's a really good price for this project. Now, I don't know that the price isn't going to continue to go down. Again, it's a brand new project. If they start the marketing and advertising and it takes off, the price could shoot up significantly really quick. It hasn't even been listed on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko yet, and that usually results in a pretty good bump. Every project's different, but you're really getting in at the ground floor. Take that into consideration when you're assessing whether to invest in this project or not. So how many holders are there? So there's 523 addresses for the holders. That's not many. Now, it's not even really 523 people holding this. So this token was a previous token. It relaunched in a new contract. I don't know all the specifics on it. I don't know the backstory on what happened with the first contract, but I do know that it's a relaunch. And many of the people that are holders on this project were carryovers from the previous version. Now, why does that matter? So relaunches have a hard time. They don't always do well. And there's a couple projects that I've been tracking. Now, Saitama is a good example. It didn't necessarily relaunch. It was a change in the development team. So it's kind of a little bit different, but it's very similar, where there was a lapse where they had a transition between the old team and the new team. Old team left for personal reasons. New team took over to make sure that the token didn't die. But it was effectively dead, but they kind of brought it back. And then there's Sandshoe Anew, which had a hack of their yield farm, and a lot of people lost their money. And that one was really close to dying, but it's been doing pretty decent. It's had about $100,000 in daily volume, which is pretty good. That's not bad, especially for what happened with the token. It's been slowly coming back, but generally after relaunch, it's hard to come back. But more importantly, it takes a lot of effort on the part of the team to try to revive the token. And they could have just let it die. They didn't have to revive it. They could have just cut their losses and moved on. But the team decided to try to fix this for the community that they had built up already. And that takes a lot. And from my perspective, a team that is willing to do that and put in the extra work to fix the problems and relaunch the token deserves a lot of credit, because there's a lot of tokens out there that would have just cut their losses and left. And all of those holders would have lost out. This team didn't do that. Now, granted, the entire team isn't necessarily the same team that was on the original launch. The CEO is pretty much the only person that I am aware of, but there might be a couple others. It's really a completely different team is the best way to look at it. But the CEO took over this and is trying to bring the project back. And in my book, that counts for a lot, because we already know that the CEO is willing to stand behind the project in that way. Even though he doesn't dox himself, not fully anyway, he's willing to stand with the project and try to make sure that it's successful. But if we go through and actually look at the holders, this first one right here where it says half of the supply, this is effectively a burn wallet. They made a mistake with the process for the relaunch that effectively turned this into a dead wallet. There's no way to get access to this. There's no way to even transfer it into what would be normally called a normal burn wallet or a burn address that we're all more familiar with. But it's dead. They can't do anything with it. So that's why I say 50% has been burned, because this is completely unusable by the development team. So it's a burn wallet just by a different name. And they are trying to rename this. They're working with BSC to actually change the name of this wallet so that it's more obvious what this is. If you look through this, there's 11 pages. And if you scroll through, and you really don't have to go to the last page, but I'm going to go to the last page just to illustrate. These are wallets that are just effectively dust. When they pulled out their wallets, this was what was left. And when they transferred it into the new contract, they transferred over as wallet addresses, but they're not really wallet addresses. So the number of people that are invested in this project is actually much smaller. Again, it's a brand new launch. So you really are getting in before anybody's really found this project and invested in it. Now, for their Twitter feed, you can see they've got 2,000 followers already on Twitter. And when you factor in that there's only a couple hundred really true holders in this project, that's potentially 2,000 investors that could invest in this project moving forward. It's not a lot, but it's a starting point. And if we look at the Twitter post here, they're trying to get 1 million market cap by the first of the year, which that's not that far away. You're getting in really early on this project. I gotta emphasize that. So how'd the team do? Again, this is a brand new project and they got a C. But let's talk a little bit more about the C, because there's some ambiguity in this project just because of the dev team being doxed or not doxed. Is the website visually appealing? Yes. I didn't see any spelling or grammar related issues. The website, no issues. Team is listed. They are listed, and at least one member is doxed. Contact method, yes. Security audit, yes. Price is listed through links, through PooCoin, where you can link straight there to see the chart data. How to buy? Yes, they have a how to buy. They have an audit. The audit score, I remember we talked about, was going to be about 95 points. Roadmap, white paper, I didn't see any issues. And development team is known. Now, here's where we start getting into, is it or is it not? Part of the team is, but as I said, it's more important that the CEO be listed. So for right now, I'm going to switch this to no. And I kept going back and forth on this, because is the development team kind of known? 50%, not even 50%, it's really like 25%. So I think no is probably the better answer, but you can see that it's really not that big of a change in the overall score. What really impacts, and again, the team is listed and at least part of the team is doxxed. That's why I'm putting that here. I would still prefer that the CEO, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. That's why I'm going to switch this one. So we're divvying up the points a little bit. I think the CEO is more important for the project, and that's why I'm assigning that one the higher point value. But they do put their pictures out there, which is more than most teams, and at least one member is doxxed where you can search for them and find information about them. I think that's a good happy medium for assigning the level of risk. Professional team, yes, I didn't see any indication that there wasn't a professional team. They have a token. They don't have anything else, but they have things planned. The NFT, the wallet, the swap, and definitely games. So they've got a lot of utility planned for their use case. They don't have a lot of holders. And for a new project, it really doesn't matter if they had 10,000 holders or 0 holders. It's not going to change the overall score, but obviously more is better. That's one of the issues with doing a fundamental analysis this early into the project is you just don't know how successful it's going to be in building up that community. No galaxy score. I did see that there are quite a few posts, so they've definitely got a lot of social media out there that is being identified, but they just haven't picked up the token yet to get a galaxy score. They don't have a lot of YouTube content out there. They do have their own YouTube channel, so they've been able to push content out in that way. As far as the Twitter and the Discord, they definitely do have that. Now, as far as the target audience, I gave them a 20 just because they've got so many things that they're putting together to launch. And I did go back and forth on whether it should be a 15 or should it be a 20 because they've got look at what they're doing. They're going to do NFTs. They're going to produce their own, plus they're going to host for other developers of NFT content. They've got a wallet. They're going to have a swap. They're actually going to have staking built in. So we're almost talking like a little bit of a yield farm essentially built in. And then you've got games. And they're building a metaverse game, which is really popular right now. That has a lot of potential, especially depending on what kind of a metaverse and what kind of games they're talking about. I suspect the card game is just their first of many because, again, they want to do a lot of games is kind of the gist of what I understood. So they've got a potentially huge target audience. And that's why I kind of bounce back and forth between 20 or giving them a 15 because it's not everybody. But when you're talking about games in a metaverse, you could potentially, metaverse is kind of the big thing right now. That's potentially a huge community of people that you're going to attract with your project. So you can see I kind of waffle back and forth. Now, again, all this is just talking about risk. So what is the risk? What are the levels of risk we've got here? They've got a security audit, so we're not too worried about the contract being rug pulled. We're not too worried about it getting hacked. They do have their team listed, but it's not fully doxxed. That's a high level of risk. And we don't have a good idea of what kind of social metrics that they've got because we don't have a galaxy score. So this project might never take off. And relaunches have an uphill battle. Not to say that this one can't overcome that because other projects have. But a lot of projects have a really hard time on a relaunch. And that's just the reality. Now, I'm not saying to go invest a whole bunch of money into it. You're getting at the ground floor. 500-ish holders. And actually, it's a lot less than 500 holders. So you're getting in on a brand new project before it's gotten blown up and everybody's invested in it. What happens if you invest when there's really about 250 or 300 holders in it, and then it's 1,000 next week or the week after, or it's 2,000 or it's 4,000? And we've all seen the charts on what that looks like. So could it potentially do that? It could. And that's what's exciting about this one is the potential. It could potentially take off and get a whole bunch of investors. And because you invested in it early, you would benefit from that. Now, the vast majority of projects I cover right after they launch have a D or an F. This one you saw was essentially a C, mainly because they didn't have a galaxy score. If they had a galaxy score, they probably would have been at the B. And if their team had been doxxed, again, it would have been at a B. Because the team's not fully doxxed, or at least not the CEO is not doxxed, and they don't have any galaxy score out there, that's what puts them at the D. Is there's a lot of uncertainty about what the future of this project looks like. But again, don't invest for a project on what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day. What is the potential for this project over the next couple of years? And we don't know the answer to that either because they don't have any utility. Are they going to make the launch of their wallet? What are some of those things, and can they pull off getting those accomplishments in there? The dashboard that they're talking about. This project is so new that we don't know the answers to any of those questions. So we're taking a real big leap of faith when we invest in a project this early on. But that's when you get the biggest payoff sometimes also. Am I saying invest $10,000? Probably not. Am I saying, is this a good investment for $20? Because you're not paying ridiculous Ethereum fees. Maybe. I don't have a ton of money. So when I invest in projects, I never invest a lot of money anyway. And my recommendation is always the same. Never invest money you're not willing to lose. A lot of the investments I make are very small. I don't have a ton of money, and I have even less money that I'm willing to lose. But I do like to eat out every once in a while. So sometimes I invest my eat out food, or sometimes I invest my entertainment budget into things. And I do have a little bit of money every month that I set for investing in crypto. It's just a bad month to buy into crypto just because of the holidays. So I don't have a ton of money right now. I'm kind of on the recovery from the holiday period. Well, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you found the content helpful. Let me know in the comments. Are you planning on investing in Metabolic? If you're not, why not? If you did, what was it about the project that drew you to it? Until next time, stay strong with those diamond hands.